Welcome to Take a Minute for Math. My name is Holly Arnold, and I'm the Math Interventionist at Mission West Elementary.
Today, we are going to talk about the importance of being able to make a 10 and also some strategies to make it fun. Making tens is such a powerful strategy because it reinforces relationships between numbers. When young students develop a sense of tenness, they are better able to make connections with numbers and perform mental math with ease. So you may be asking, what is tenness? Since we use the base 10 system in the United States, the concept of tenness can be thought of as the foundation of place value. When students are able to compose and decompose or make and break apart numbers into tens, they can better manipulate numbers mentally. It does not matter how large or small the number, they can still apply this concept. One effective tool to assist students in making tens is the 10 frame. These are so easy to make and cost $0. All you need is a piece of paper and a marker. 10 helps students visualize the smaller numbers inside a larger number, making it easier for kids to compose and decompose. Also, once students move on to using double 10 frames or a 20 frame, they can see the 10 when two or more numbers are added together. A 10 frame helps students visually move dots or other objects in order to make problems easier to work with. For example, if students add 9 plus 3 using a 20 frame, it helps them see that this is the same as 10 plus 2. This will later help students when adding larger numbers mentally, like 39 plus 4 is the same as 40 plus 3. All right, so let's look at some different ways that we can practice making 10. One of the easiest ways is to use a 10 frame that we just talked about and a dice or any kind of number cube. Now, if you don't have a dice at home, you can always go to Google and type in roll a dice, and there will be a number cube that pops up that you can roll virtually if you need to. So all we're going to do is take our dice and we're going to roll it. And whatever number you land on is how many items that you're going to put in your 10 frame. Remember that these items can be anything that you have at home, whether it's pasta or pennies or small toys, anything that fits in the little frames or things that you could use at home. So now that I have five, I know that if I look at my 10 frame, I have five that are full and I can count to see how many are empty. One, two, three, four, five. So I know that five and five make 10. Now, as I get into the older grades, I could also do 5 and plus 5 equals 10, and I could write equations for each. This is appropriate for first grade through fifth grade. Okay, so then I can either put my other items if students are needing to actually practice counting, then I can always take a different color or a different kind of item and put those in the frame to show that it is actually full. So I can count one, two, three, four, five. I can see that my 10 frame is completely full now. I know if my 10 frame is full, then it equals 10. So I have five greens and five reds make 10. Okay, then I would clear off my 10 frame and I would roll again. This time I have one green plus, and I would need to count how many spaces are left. One, two, three, four, five. Notice that I go all the way back down here to the beginning. When I finish my top row, I go back to the beginning and start over. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine. So I know that 1 and 9 equals 10. The more students practice this skill, the more that they will start to remember the different patterns that they see. So they're seeing it in a visual form, they're seeing it in number form, and eventually, the more and more they do it, the more it sticks. Another strategy that I like to use to help students start to learn combinations that make 10 are to use 10 frames. Now, you can see that these 10 frames already have dots on them. So it would be super easy to create a set of your own, even if you don't have these, where you would just draw your 10 frames and then you could draw some dots in there. And I have dots all the way from 1 to 10, and they're all mixed up here. So what I would do is first, after showing students the card, they would tell me how many dots they see. So this is also practicing subitizing, where they're having to recognize small amounts of numbers quickly. And the 10 frame helps with that organizational tool. They would have to tell me how many dots they see, but then also how many blank spaces there are. So this is practicing those combinations of 10. So I know that I have 1 dot, which means there have to be 9 left over. So 1 and 9 would make 10. And I would just go through these like flashcards. I see 7 dots and 3 blanks, so 7 and 3 would make 10. Now they're using the same strategies that they should have been practicing on 10 frames, knowing that if the row is full, it's 5, 2 more would make 7, and I have 3 left over. It does not matter what direction these cards are placed. They should be able to tell you how many dots they see, no matter what direction the card is facing. So it doesn't always have to be from beginning to end. And I see 6 and 4 more would make 10. 6 and 4 make 10. I see 3, which means there has to be 7 left over. 3 and 7 make 10. And students would continue to practice this until they get more familiar with the combinations of 10. So now that we've talked about several ways that we can practice making 10, we talked about using actual objects on a 10 frame to create equations of numbers that add together to make 10. We've also talked about using 10 frames with dots already on them to show students how they can visualize what number is there and what number they still need. Another strategy we can use once we get past needing to use manipulatives and we can practice just putting the numbers together, you can either choose to use a set of playing cards with the numbers on them. You would just take out all of the face cards. So you would take out the jack, the queen, king, and any jokers. So you just have numbers. Or if you don't have a deck of playing cards, you can always just create your own little deck with numbers on them. So I have 0 through 10, and I would create several sets so that there's enough to have a little deck to use. And all you would do with this for students is show them the number, and they would say 2 plus 8 equals 10. 3 plus 7 equals 10. 4 plus 6 equals 10. 5 plus 5 equals 10. Now, as students get better at doing this, sometimes I like to have them where I show them the card, but they only tell me the buddy number that goes with it to make 10. So instead of saying 2 plus 8 equals 10, when they see this card, they would just say 8, 7, 6, 5, 1, 6. And they would continue doing that to practice putting those numbers together. Now, one other way that students might use some of these strategies to help them are to take the cards, either the deck of cards you used or the deck you created. Obviously, you're going to mix them all up. And then you can either lay them out, so students have a choice. I like to play a game called 7 Up, where we put 7 cards out, and then students have to find matches or buddies that would go together to make 10. So in this case, if I'm looking at these numbers, I would see that 0 and 10 make 10, and I would get to keep those cards. And after those cards are used, then they get replaced with something else. Looking here, I can see that nothing adds together to make 10. So I could add some more cards. Now I know that 9 and 1 makes 10, so I would get those. 6 and 4 makes 10. And I play this game with students where we try to get faster and faster. So it might take us 3 minutes to go through the whole deck, and then we start a timer and try to beat our time each round that we play. So these are just some strategies that might help you with your student to practice making 10. The more that we're able to make 10 quickly, the easier math will be throughout every grade level. Thank you so much for taking the time to join me today. I hope that you were able to find some strategies that will help students become better with making 10. Like we said before, making 10 is crucial to be able to do math easily and more efficiently every grade level that we go through. See you next time.